The Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has made several explosive revelations in a tell-all conversation with Northeast Live Editor-in-Chief Wasbir Hussain. From last night's blast at Kakching to the pre-poll violence allegation by the NPP, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh has spoken out on a number of issues just ahead of the crucial first phase of voting next week. Reacting to the IED explosion in Kakching, in which two ITBP personnel were injured, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh stated that vested interest groups and political forces, along with outlawed organizations, carried out the incident to destabilize peace in the state. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh also lashed out at the NPP over allegations of pre-poll violence against BJP. Commenting on the Andhra Assembly constituency incident, the Manipur Chief Minister alleged that while it was the NPP candidate's security personnel who shot at the driver of BJP candidate T. Shyam Kumar, the party was projecting the incident otherwise, making baseless allegations against the BJP. Based on police investigation, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh also clarified that the father of NPP candidate L. Sanjoy was shot by unidentified miscreants and that the BJP had no hand in it.
I am now joined by top BJP leader and Chief Minister of Manipur, Mr. N. Biren Singh. Mr. Chief Minister, there was a blast where two IT Indo-Tibetan border police personnel were injured. That day, there was an attack on the father of an NPP candidate. Before that, there was a blast in front of an NPP worker's house. Who is responsible for this kind of violent activities, according to you?
No, just some miscreant, the anti-national people, are colluding with some vested interested political groups and trying to destabilize the peaceful atmosphere in the state. And I strongly condemn this kind of violence. And just the police has on his duty to arrest the culprit regarding the recent evening bomb blast at Wangu area. And Wasbir, I want to clarify one thing. The accident which took place in the Andhra AC, which the NPP is charging that the father of the Sanjoy, the NPP candidate, was fired by BJP. That was totally wrong. The injured person of the driver of the BJP candidate, Shri Shyam Kumar Singh, is still in the hospital, who were fired by the escort of the Sanjoy Singh, the NPP candidate. So this kind of whole allegation should not be comes from the NPP party. I want to suggest to them, don't spread false allegation because police are there and the police has already taken up the cases and the police are investigating the case. So the real culprit was the Sanjoy's security guard who fired upon the driver of the Shyam Kumar, the BJP candidate of the Andhra AC. And regarding the blast, I strongly condemn it, and I convey my deepest condolence to the injured personnel, and the necessary legal actions to nab the culprit have already launched, and definitely we will book it. And here I doubt the hands of some outlawed group along with some vested interested politicians.
Right. Now, you have made a very important point, Mr. Chief Minister. You said that the security guard of the NPP candidate fired upon the BJP vehicle or BJP candidate's place, and that is obviously on the basis of police inquiry, is it?
Yes. Already the injured driver of the particular candidate, Shri Shyam Kumar Singh, is in the hospital now. And just everything, police has already verified the area also.
So then, who fired upon the NPP candidate's father? Is it the security people of Mr. Shyam Kumar, or who is responsible for this?
That was report, as per the report that was done by unidentified.
Right.
Who are behind it, we cannot identify, because from our BJP side, nothing was done, no firing was taken place, nothing has been done there. So just that is a wild allegation. Without proof, we cannot say or we cannot imagine anyone that you're involved.
Right.
So
Now,
please note it.
Meanwhile, talking about the ensuing assembly polls, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said that the BJP had no competitor this time round and the party's only target was to achieve two-thirds majority. The Manipur Chief Minister dismissed the challenge posed by NPP and Congress, stating that both parties will fail to reach a double-digit figure.
Mr. Biren Singh, this elections, the BJP is unleashing all its top leaders in Manipur. Prime Minister is also scheduled to come day after tomorrow. So you are taking the election very seriously. Who is your main rival this time? Is it the NPP? Is it the Congress?
No, there is no any particular rival this time, but our effort is to get the two-third majority in the state in the coming election. And as of now and in future also, we don't see any arch rival competitors, because everyone, most of the party, even Congress or NPP, they will be under coming under single digit. So we don't have any arch rival as of now. I can say proudly.
Right. And this confidence is because of your performance in the last 5 years. Are you saying that?
Exactly, Vasvir. Exactly. You see, when that pandemic, that the serious pandemic which we cannot touch, even our children, even our loved one, we cannot touch them. During that time, Honorable Prime Minister distributed free of rice to all families. And that during that crucial time, Honorable Prime Minister initiated to vaccinate all the peoples. That is the reason why we still survive. So we cannot forget our Honorable Prime Minister's contribution. We have to honor him. We have to repay. That is the decision of the people of the Manipur.
Meanwhile, in another explosive revelation, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh alleged that NPP veteran and Deputy Chief Minister Y. Joy Kumar was removed from the cabinet during his term due to rampant irregularities and corruption in the finance department. Significantly, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said that it was due to Joy Kumar's alleged corrupt practices that the BJP decided not to ally with the NPP this time.
2-3 days ago, I had interviewed Mr. Joy Kumar Singh, your Deputy Chief Minister and NPP leader. He said that, the governance was not good during 5 years. Then I asked him the question, then if governance was not good, why did you continue with the Biren Singh-led coalition government for 5 years? So he said that we are a party, we gave once commitment, so we did not want to go back. How do you respond to this?
You see, Vaspi, it is black and white. I was removed him from the portfolio of finance,
Yes.
due to misusing of fund and just which even the RBI imposed a ban in the financial transaction,
Right.
So that kind of corruption I cannot tolerate. That's why they are angry with me, because I cannot succumb to the political pressures, because we, the BJP, have decided to become a corruption-free state in Manipur. So these people have started that kind of thing. So that's why they might have searched like anything, but the truth is that everyone have seen that I remove him, then again interested the portfolio again,
So you were saying that Mr. Joy Kumar Singh, when he was holding his finance portfolio, there were a lot of financial irregularities in his department. Is that the charge you are making today?
No, that is the black and white proof is there. Why he was removed from the finance, everyone knows. But when I was holding just 4 or 5 months, everything was very smoothly going.
Right.
So everyone know who is who. So that's why we are not making any alliance with them this time.
Right.
because we don't want to be we want to be a part of the corrupted with the corrupted party.
Besides, in a clear indication that the BJP was all for taking the NPF along, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh said that the BJP's efforts to bring the valley and hills closure had paid dividends, and hence there was trust between people now, which has prompted the NPF to bank on the Saffron Party. The Manipur Chief Minister also spoke about how the Go to Hills and Go to Village program sets his government apart from others.
We have spoken to a lot of Naga People's Front NPF leaders. The NPF seems to have full faith in the BJP this time. They have expressed their happiness with the BJP manifesto also. So, do you have an understanding with the NPF?
Vasbir, just Nagas or Maitais or everyone has to live together, and we are living since time immemorial.
Yes.
And there was a throwing bond between the communities by the previous regime. But after the BJP-led government comes, our priority was to bridge up the gap between the communities. So now we have regained the trust. Now we have built up the relationship. So the trust and the confidence between the peoples of the state has come off. So that is the reason why NPF trusts us, and we also trust them.
Right, and your program. The moment you took over in 2017, you started this Go to Hills campaign. Do you think that is also one of the reasons why that the valley hill divide must have been breached a little bit more than before?
Exactly, Vasbi, exactly. Just when I started the Go to Hills, people were surprised what he is going to do. Then I started taking off development works in the hills areas and the rural areas. And along with the Go to the Hills, I also started the mission of Go to Village. And I sent my officials and my minister colleagues to village in every part of the state. And we're looking after the grievances and the problems of the village-wise. That is the reason why now the people are so much in support of the BJP government now.
Lastly, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh termed ushering in of peace as the BJP's biggest achievement and pledged to bring all underground groups to the negotiating table if his government gets another 5-year term.
Mr. Chief Minister, what would you consider your government's biggest achievements in the last 5 years? What are you telling the people this time? What are you telling them? Why should they vote for the BJP?
You see, before our government comes, the women's folk in the state, Ima, mothers, sisters, they did not sleep inside the house. They were guarding their brothers, their husband outside the gate in the name of Mera Paibi, spending a whole night just on the outside the gate, guarding their loved one, their brothers, their husband, because security personnel or unknown personnel were taking law to in their own hand, and many fake encounters were taking place. Many, you have seen what were Manipur before our government comes. So that is the promise I have given to the people of the state that after the coming of the BJP government in Manipur, now the women's folk, the mother and the sister have peacefully sleeping inside the home. Nothing is taking place. No unwanted accident is taking place. Point where the people are roaming in the street during even the late night, nothing is happening. When everyone can go to hills, hill people can come down to the valley. That is the life. So I promise them that let me continue. Let the BJP government continue under the guidance of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. We will provide you further peace and development. That is the only thing.
Lastly, this time if the BJP comes to power, would you try to open peace talks with all the militant groups in Manipur, whether it is the valley-based militant groups, whether it is the militants in the hills?
Wasveer, that is a very important part, and we have already started that process. And I hope that in the coming next 5 years, if the government, the God bless and people bless us, then definitely within that 5 years, I will concentrate to bring all of the insurgent group in the negotiating table and we'll solve it. That is my target.
Mr. N. Biren Singh, thank you very much for speaking to me and wish you all the best for the coming elections.
Thank you, Wasveer, thanks.